Hey world, Dan Brown here with another episode of Pogobat. First and foremost, a happy Thanksgiving to all of my viewers in the United States at the very least, and I guess my viewers in Canada, although your Thanksgiving happened, like over a month ago. I hope you survived any and all conversations with your conservative conspiracy Facebook meme sharing uncles/relatives. There's my dog in the background. Very excited. How you doing, Roswell? Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come say hi. Come say hi. Oh, well, she's okay. She's very excited. Roswell, right on cue. She came with us to the Detroit area. We visited my partner's family. That's Tracy right there pictured. Our dog is in the background there, moving around a little bit blurry. She was very stressed out about the 5-hour car ride there and back, but has been a very good girl since, except for 2 nights ago she did destroy my D&D character sheet. I don't know why she felt so entitled. She's normally very good overnight, but she just reached onto the coffee table. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little coffee table in the background right there. But she reached up there, got the D&D character sheet, and just ripped it to shreds. She had a mechanical pencil. I hope she's okay. She has been okay. But anyway. Oh, and she also learned how to hug. I can't really show you right now. She's scared of the light in the camera. I'm actually surprised she came all the way over here just a second ago. But she learned how to hug. Kind of hard to explain. But if I go down low and I'm like, give me a hug, she comes in and she just... It's hard to explain, but she gives the best approximation of a hug that a dog can give. It's very wholesome and very good. I spent my Thanksgiving week up in Detroit. That's why there were no Pogobats last week. Hope your Thanksgiving was good. But we're back. We got some new bats, and I got some new announcements with Thanksgiving behind us. It is now officially Christmas. I mean, not actually, but Christmas, the 12 days of Christmas. Fun fact, I grew up in a very Christian household. Both of my parents were preachers, and so I know my mom loves to point out that the 12 days of Christmas don't begin in the run-up to Christmas. They actually begin on Christmas Day, and Christmas continues into January until Epiphany, I think is what she says. But anyway, I know that not everyone celebrates Christmas here, trying to keep things relatively secular, but, you know, it's the plurality holiday. Even if you're not religious, even if you're not celebrating too many holidays, it's still the time of year where in the United States of America we try to distract ourselves from how dang cold it's getting in so much of the country by consuming things, giving gifts to our loved ones. But for all of the togetherness and holiday meals and gift giving and warm fires, this is, for many people, the most stressful time of year. Maybe not quite as stressful as like election days in this day and age, but many people struggle through the holidays, especially if you're dealing with loss or just depression, even if it's seasonal depression. You know, the sun is not out as frequently. And so I just want to say real quick, if you are struggling, part of what I'm trying to do here is build a supportive leftist community. And I'm going to get a little bit more into what we should be doing with the next couple of months over the next couple of slides. But self-care is the name of the game. And my first announcement is that we're going to be doing Slow Cooker Saturday. This Saturday, December 1st at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Mark your calendars, or you at least tell your phone to remind you, have Siri remind you 15 minutes before 5 p.m. Eastern Time this coming Saturday. Tracy and I, my partner and I, have been doing Slow Cooker Saturday for our own dang selves for months now, and it has improved our quality of life so much. It's so easy to make such delicious food, and it's not very expensive, and it lasts like all week long if you make a high enough volume. And so I just want to help the bats, help the Pogo tribe, help itself. And you know, this is a two-way street too. I'm not claiming to know everything there is to know about self-care. Like I just started slow cooking for myself. I want to engage in this project together over the next few months. Not just the bats, but all people on the left should be using this time to take care of ourselves, to make sure that mentally and physically we are as prepared as possible for the next chapter of the leftist political revolution that is ongoing in the United States. In the last episode of Pogobat, if you'll remember 2 weeks ago, I brought up the hierarchy of needs. I used this exact slide, a little bit of an updated hierarchy of needs, including Wi-Fi and battery life for the 21st century. Like, if we are to build out a sustainable socialist future for the United States of America and the whole world, with 2 years to go before the next election, the next major opportunity to make progress, we need to be focused on building healthy habits to reach this baseline-ish for meaningful political engagement beyond simply getting your butt out there to vote. So if the left is consciously focused on self-care in service of becoming our best selves before the next big political struggle, next big political opportunity in the form of the 2020 elections, we will be better able to organize and win than our opposition, than the fascist and authoritarian enablers that have voted for and occupy Donald Trump and his administration. I assume they're using this time, post-2018 election, to sulk and eat fast food and hot pockets. So if we're taking better care of ourselves, if we have better bodies and minds and a more hearty spirit, then that's the recipe for winning, for taking back. That's part of the recipe. That's the first step in the recipe. And this leads me to announcement number 2, bringing back the subreddit, reddit.com/r/Pogobat, and I'm doing it very much in a spirit of you start by starting, okay? Clearly, I have some work to do on this. There's a banner there saying I need to stylize my community for the new Reddit. Like, I need to come up with some banners. I need to maybe accept applications down the road, not right now. Don't email me just yet. I mean, you can if you want, but I probably need a few more moderators, admins, blah, blah, blah. That all can wait, though. For the time being, well, first I want to say I've been very psyched. Shout out to Foucault's turtleneck. As I browse Reddit, just generally, I have seen popping up in my feed new episodes of Pogobat every once in a while, and that is not my doing. That is username Foucault's turtleneck. Posting new Pogobats there. I really appreciate that, and I want to engage with this subreddit more. I did it like, I don't know, 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago I was using it. It's basically become dilapidated and unappreciated and untended to, but we're going to change all that. And the first call to action that I have for the subreddit, I mean, feel free to post anything that you want there. Feel free to start any sort of Pogobat related or leftist politics related discussion. I will start referencing it more regularly, seeing what sort of stuff is posted there. But the specific call to action, if you can't think of anything else to post there, I want to know about your healthy habits, about your self-care best practices and resources. You can leave a comment here, of course, but if you are a Redditor, head on over to reddit.com/r/Pogobat, and let's talk a little bit about self-care. That's what I want to dedicate, all else being equal, December, January, February Pogobat videos to, before we move on to the next chapter of our rough plan, mediocre plan is better than no plan approach to political change, and how we can plug into a broader leftist movement. So again, mark your calendars. This Saturday, Slow Cooker Saturday, going to do a live stream, myself and my partner, helping all of us help ourselves to make sure that we are well fed and eating healthy food and doing it on the cheap. That's December 1st, 5 p.m. Have Siri remind you. Also starting up that subreddit again. For now, though, for the back half of this episode of Pogobat, I want to feature, it's been a long time since you've heard this, a video response from Jared Sellick. Let's roll it. Let's just roll it.
Good evening, Dan. This is Jared Sellick. I'm a political science student here in the University of South Florida, so I pay attention a lot. Over the summer, I worked as a field organizer for a campaign, and I did a bunch of canvassing, knocking door to door. It is incredibly important that the Democratic Party takes progressives seriously, and they need to be afraid that we won't vote for them. Now, of course, we know that we want to get rid of Donald Trump from the Oval Office. That's the most important thing that we can do. But we will not do that if we run corporatists in the presidential election and in Senate and House elections up all over the country. If we run corporatists, people who will not push for $15 an hour, people who are not for Medicare for all, that is not going to bring out the voters that we need to beat Trump. So it's very important, I think, for that to be our mindset, for us to be all like, oh, if these people remain in charge with their current ideology, that's what's going to happen in 2020. I think that's where we need to be operating. Now is the time for you to listen to progressives and take our ideas seriously, because it worked for the Tea Party when they wanted to pull the Republican Party to the right. They did it, and that's because the Republicans respect their voters. And we need to get Democrats to respect the progressive voters in this country. My mic fell down.
So Jared touches on more than just what I featured right there, but you know, that's kind of the nature of video responses. You're responding to a lot of things that I touched on in these Pogobats. So please check out the full video that Jared uploaded and engage with him directly. No need for me to be a middleman here. That's part of community building, right? Go over to his video, engage with it directly. But there is, the thread that I featured is what I want to engage with specifically, myself. If the slide will change for me, there it goes. So the conversation about corporatist Democrats is huge. And it hints at the next steps. Like after this self-care phase of, the revolution we're a part of, comes the upending of the corporatist status quo within the Democratic Party, which represents the left half of America's political spectrum, but it is not nearly far enough to the left, right? Election night was a net positive for surviving the end of capitalism, was a net positive in terms of our odds of surviving climate change. But we have so much work to do. Right here, of course, is Nancy Pelosi, who at this point looks certain pretty much to be the next Speaker of the House once again, and she is a corporatist. She is primarily interested in preserving American empire and preserving some semblance of the capitalist status quo, maybe slapping a few extra regulations on, this, that, and the other, but still very much a centrist-minded, empire-minded politician, as my favorite podcast, Intercepted, has recently pointed out. I would have loved to have seen a progressive challenger to Nancy Pelosi's speakership, but the truth is, our movement just isn't there yet. Yes, we do have some power, but not enough to upend the leadership structure of the, centrist but still left half of the American political spectrum. And quick sidebar, a lot of the hatred of Nancy Pelosi comes from people who probably know next to nothing about her actual politics and probably don't give two hoots. All that they see, I'm talking about her like radical right-wing opposition, is a powerful woman. And that's all they really care about. That is enough to trigger them into standing against her, no matter what it is that she might be saying. They don't really care what the truth of the matter is. They just want to hate on a powerful woman. That's not why I don't like Nancy Pelosi. And in fact, I have a knee-jerk response to want to kind of defend her from some of that, even though she is like this kind of bland centrist. I mean, she's a very tactical organizer. She's very good at whipping up votes for stuff. But anyway, this of course, is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She is the avatar for and it child of America's progressive left, and she has recently come under fire for announcing that she will be supporting Nancy Pelosi's bid for the speakership. And all that I have to say about that is let's give the wunderkind some room to wunder. Let's let her have the space to lead us, to guide us. Like I was saying, we have only just begun electing truly progressive members to the House of Representatives. We do have a little bit of power here, but if we want to build on that power, maintain that power we have to play a longer game than just, demanding that the entire progressive caucus in the House hold the line on all of our litmus test issues immediately. We need to give our leaders some space to play the game tactically. We need to give them some space to actually lead us. Were we elected to Congress? I mean, for the dramatic majority of us, I think the answer is no. So, I mean, let's not backseat Congress. I mean, we can keep some pressure up, of course, but just because she supports Nancy Pelosi does not mean that she is going back on her progressive ideals as soon as she gets into the halls of power. You got to play this smart. She's a freshman congresswoman, and if your first order of business in Congress is to try to, shake up the entire leadership system, you might find yourself up a creek without a paddle and without very many friends. If she can pull Nancy Pelosi to the left with her star power, that is good. But you don't do that by just opposing blindly without using your power, your political capital, for what amounts to just a protest vote if it's not going to matter in the first place. So rather than demanding that we hold the line on all these purity tests, give some room to be pragmatic. Simultaneously, we need to be working our butts off with organizations like DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America, and Justice Democrats and other groups that will certainly spring up to make sure that every seat that can safely be defended election after election after election while being held by a truly leftist, a truly progressive AOC-style politician We need to make sure that we're not just in those seats sending bland, centrist, corporatist Democrats. We need to send really, really progressive people there, and the work that will require to have our own sort of, pseudo Tea Party movement on the left. That begins right now after this chapter of self-care. I think that December, January, we should be building healthy habits into our lives, and then in 2019, as the 2020 campaign begins, it begins as soon as 2019 begins, let's be honest. That's when we should be pushing for a really, truly progressive wave. The blue wave must continue. This wave has not crested yet, as I said in my wave Pogobat. So we need our own Tea Party movement. It needs to happen in 2020. I mean, one, because there's no time to waste, and two, because assuming that Donald Trump is still president, at that point, so many people, even if it's Mike Pence, even if it's someone else, like presidential election years, we're going to see a lot of engagement, a lot of people showing up to vote against whatever sort of authoritarian nonsense is going on in the White House, and we need to take advantage of that high voter turnout to make sure that we're voting for progressive candidates all the way down the ballot, not just these bland centrists. That is the middle term plan, not midterm. That means something else in a political context. But the first step is making sure that we are mentally and physically prepared. It's all about self-care. Self-care, self-care, self-care for the next few months. While our opposition is eating Hot Pockets and fast food, we're going to be eating delicious and healthy slow cooker recipes so that when the time comes in 2019 and 2020, when they're stuck on the toilet, we'll be knocking on doors. I'm sorry, that's kind of gross, kind of a gross visual. But join me and join my partner, Tracy, for Slow Cooker Saturday, coming up this Saturday, December 1st at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a live stream. It's going to be a party. We're going to be hanging out, having a good time, making some delicious food. I mean, I guess you guys probably won't be eating that delicious food unless you're making the food at the same time. But the stream, I believe, will be, I'm still very new to this streaming thing. I'm going to be spending the next few days figuring out how best to do it in 2018 with this setup, or maybe I'll bring my laptop down, or maybe I can, Firewire, is that still a technology that's used? I'm so old. I'm so old now. I don't even know half the social media platforms the kids are using these days, or how these cameras hook up to computers anymore. I still use floppy disks. Check out the subreddit too. All right, I'm done.